Hi, welcome to video number 2. So I'm going to talk to you a bit more about my journey, what I have learned, the things I think I've learned, and what got me there, what inspired me, and all of those things. So yeah, like I said in the other video, please forgive me if I'm babbling, ranting on, not making any sense. I will not be editing the video, so you've just got me being me and making mess ups. So, right, I've written some notes down because there's quite a lot of things I just want to mention in this video. So, please forgive me again if I'm looking down and reading off notes. I'll try not to do that. So, okay, so why did I start asking questions in the first place? So, I think at the start of the whole illness in early 2020, just got to be careful the words I use because I don't want anything to be taken off their platform. I remember when at the start, I think we were all terrified, weren't we? I think we all expected to find bodies on the street, people dropping down dead, never being able to see our grandparents again and all of that kind of thing. And it quickly became apparent that it kind of wasn't as severe as what we were being told. And I think it was around the time that Boris was allegedly in hospital with it. And there was something on TV when I used to watch the news quite a lot back then. And there was something on TV and it was talking about YouTube and the fact that something had been censored and removed. And I just remember thinking, well, that just didn't seem quite right, because for me, YouTube was just always full of nonsense and incorrect information and lots of things that, people, it's just not true. So why would something be taken off? And it just, to me, I just thought that's a bit weird. What is that? I want to know what it is, and I want to know why it was removed. So I did loads of digging and I found lots of information that was classed as the whole conspiracy thing. And one guy in particular, a guy called Dr. Butter, he's based in America. He's really well known. He's the chair of lots of medical establishments, boards, got his own practice. I'm no medical expert, but he's really, really well he's what's the word I'm looking for? He's got accreditations and really well qualified in his field of what he does. And he was saying he was saying things that was just very different to what the TV was saying and what all of the experts on the TV were saying. And he was in touch with a lady called Judy Mikovits, who I think I've said her name right, Mikovits. And she worked in labs. She was a virologist, ridiculously well, all of her accreditations. I can't think of the word. So she had 30 or something crazy years of experience working in virology and knows how pathogens work and how they spread. And she worked on the gain of function research, which if you've looked into that and you've already done your digging into the origins of COVID, then you've probably heard that before, and you've probably even heard her name before as well. So she was on this video with Dr. Butter, and I listened to a lot of his videos in the early days because he was the only person that seemed to be speaking out and making sense. He also at one point had this doctors round table. So he had over 100 doctors from all over the world, doctors and virologists, all saying the same things, which completely went against the things that were on the TV, like the official narrative. So yeah, it was just one of those times where you just think, what is going on? Why are all these people saying the same things? And why are they all being shut down? And why is the TV saying something completely different? Why can we not just have an open negotiation, so we can all see the two sides, so we can all make our own minds up how serious it is, if it is serious at all? Why are the people just being shut up if they're not pushing the fear thing and making it out to be a really huge thing to have to worry about? I just didn't understand why that was the case. So I followed him for a long time. He's got a really, really good book out, The 9 Steps to Keep the Doctor Away. It was just really good. One of the best things I've ever read. So I would really recommend finding him. And yeah, then one of my friends, actually, one of her dad, I was having a chat with him, and he was pretty much on the same path as me, which was amazing to find somebody else who was also asking questions. And he told me about the Fall Cabal, and he actually sent me the link to the first one. And that's when I sat down and started watching it, the first one. And then I remember, I think I got a coffee. It was a morning, about 9 a.m, and I just didn't move off my seat until I'd watched all 10 episodes. Just had to watch it all. It just was amazing. It was completely mind-blowing. But I also want to say at this point, I know I've mentioned it again and again and again, but I would definitely recommend everybody to watch that, because it just puts so much out there. It just helps you to re-look at the world as you think you know it, but then in a way that makes you ask questions, in a way that you want to re-look at things, and then maybe come to your own conclusions about things. If you're watching this now and you haven't seen that, please watch it, because there's going to be things I'm going to say on these videos, and if you haven't watched it, you'll be thinking, what is she on about? She's on a different planet. And if I'm talking about, say, the political system or the financial system, I don't know, or a medical system even, I'm not an expert in any of those areas, but based on the information in those documentaries and the research that, if you've watched it, the research that you put into it to then find your own truth and to find your own conclusion around certain things, if you've watched that and you've sat through it and you've had an open mind, then at least I know you're going to be on the same page as me when I'm talking. Or maybe not the same page, but at least we're all in the same book. So we all have the same sort of starting point. Because if you haven't watched it, honestly, it just opens your eyes, it blows your mind in a good way. Please watch it right through to the end. Yeah, so that's what I just want to say about that. Please watch it, because you're just going to think I'm bonkers if you don't. Which maybe I am. Who knows? Right, okay, so looking at my notes. Yeah, so then I watched the Fall Cabal. Fall of the Cabal. Is it Fall of the Cabal or Fall Cabal? I'm not sure, but I'll post a link. And everybody that I knew, I told about all of this stuff going on in the background, what's happened with this, what's happened with that. And naturally, everyone just thought I was bonkers, totally crazy, wrote me off as a head case, which is fine, because I probably would have done the same as well had I not have seen that. So what did I do next? I switched the news off, because I found that, excuse me, I found that the news was, well, it was just pushing fear, wasn't it? It's just like, be scared of this, be scared of that, go out, don't go out, go out again, don't go out again. And seriously, my life's my life. I didn't really have a clue what lockdown we were in, what red, green, amber, who knows, who cares? I've just not really been too consumed at all with that. The other thing as well with the news, did anyone else think, at the start of this whole like illness thing, if it was like a huge problem for humanity and like an absolute threat to our survival, why wasn't we being briefed on being healthy and getting healthy and vitamin C and exercise and vitamin D and all of that kind of thing? Why weren't the vulnerable and the elderly getting vitamin C capsules shipped to their homes? Why weren't they getting that sort of support? Why were we just getting fear and just horrible stuff run down our throats? Like, it was like brainwashing, seriously, if you look at it, and all the death figures and the case figures coming up like consistently. And you look into hypnosis and look into the things that hypnosis do, like hypnotic people, hypnotists. Look into the things that hypnotists look into what hypnotists do and how they hypnotize people. It was literally on your TV when you put the BBC News on. Right, okay, so next, so with the Fall Cabal as well, you quickly get to realise it's not just this, what's happening with the disease. illness that's going around the world at the moment. It's not just this. There's the bigger picture, and seriously, if you're in a position now where you are feeling really scared, really vulnerable, terrified for the future, and all of those kind of things, it's almost like you're in the woods, really dark woods, and you can just see what's around you. And by that I mean all you can see is the thing in your arm, the passport thing, and all of the control. Have you got problems with work? Are they forced it? And all of that kind of thing. I know it's really difficult, and I know it's a really terrifying place. But if you step back and watch that documentary, it's almost like you're stepping out of the woods. And so you've got this much wider perspective. So you can see the whole picture of what's going on, why it's going on, how long it's going on for, and also that there is a massive light at the end of the tunnel. So I just want to try and put your mind at rest with that as well, because I firmly believe that if you do enough digging and do enough research, you will come to the same conclusions that I have as well. And I'll explain that more in more of my videos, but I kind of need to work through things in some sort of order because there's just that much information. So what I found, which you've probably found, have you found? Don't know. It's not just the illness at the moment. It's like the whole political system. It's the whole media, and that includes all your social media, everything you see on TV, the whole pharmaceutical industry, big pharma, education, the financial system, religion, like everything in the system is kind of all in on it, really. And I'll talk through every area and hopefully help you to understand parts of, or at least put your research together, because there's certain things that I totally struggled with, so I just really want to try and help you join the dots. So as well, if you're here, you've probably already recognised that everything is about divide and conquer, isn't it? If we're all divided and we're all arguing against each other, then we're not actually focusing on the real problem. So if you've got the people who have taken the V in the arm, jab, let's call it a jab, or the people who haven't, and then they're kind of pitted against each other. They also tried the young people against the old people, and the young people weren't being responsible, and therefore the old people were turning on the young people, and all of that. And then you've got your religion, obviously that's always been a divide and conquer. You've got your political system, that's always been a divide, whether or not you're Labour or you're Conservative, and rah rah rah. So I think that's where we need to make sure we move on in a way where we are all united. We are all humanity. We are all humans. We all have red blood in our veins and all of that kind of stuff. So we don't need to be fighting with each other. And that's another reason as well. I don't want to be telling anybody what to believe or think or any of that. I'm just here just talking about my truth. And if that upsets you or offends you, that's fine. I'm sorry about that. Please just switch me off. That would be cool. So yeah, I'm not here to like divide, conquer. I'm not here to divide or upset anybody. Just doing my thing. Okay, so, and this is the other thing as well. When I was telling everybody where I was at, I came across lots of people who, because it's not on the news, the stuff I'm saying to them, because it's not like spoon-fed on the news, they couldn't comprehend what I was saying as any truth in it at all. However, that's kind of changing now, because the news is changing now, and you're starting to see some of the truth coming out, which is epic. And another reason why I believe that there is a massive light at the end of the tunnel. So people, I think there's this thing where people, it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they've been fooled, because there's a massive ego thing there. All of our lives, we've always trusted and believed in, I suppose, what we're told, the system, the education we've had. We've always been conditioned in a certain way. We've been told that we should probably trust the government, trust what's on TV. If it's on TV, then it's generally true, and all of that kind of stuff. So to come to a place now where you're actually questioning not just what's on TV, but like the whole bigger picture, is it's a big ask for people, especially, you know, those kind of people that always have to be right, that they're never wrong, or they're never able to have an open mind to consider what you're saying. Those people are really going to struggle with this. But it's just, everyone's on their own journey, aren't they? So we'll see. But what I'm saying is, if you're in a position now where you're like thinking about what's going on, and you're desperately trying to get everybody else to realise what's going on, just, it's not your responsibility. Everybody's on their own path. If people choose to dig into things, if people choose to look for the truth, then great, you know, definitely be the person to point them in the right direction. But if they don't choose to open their eyes and see what's going on, then there's nothing you can do about it. You've just got to be there and understand that everyone's got their own path, everyone's got free choice, and just have a nice open heart for when they do want to start exploring things. It's not going to be an I told you so kind of thing. It's a okay, let's help you now, to help you to understand. Okay, so right, I'm going to touch on the cabal now, or the cabal. So I think most people probably, I don't know, I've always heard of the Illuminati or the cabal, I don't even know how to say it, or the high ups, or the top 1%. I think most people probably think, I don't know if it's common knowledge, that the top 1% of the richest people in the world are just 1% of the people, and generally that is those people who control a lot of the stuff that goes on in the world, through secret societies and I don't know, lots of other things, which you'll learn about on the documentary. It's a long time since I went through it. I just try and block out the information that I don't find useful anymore. But anyway, loads of those kind of secret societies and stuff. And if you've ever heard of the names, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the George Soros and all of that, and if you've heard of Agenda 2021 or Agenda 2030, it changed to Agenda 2030, and I'll explain why in a bit. New World Order or Build Back Better and all of that kind of thing, it's all moving towards that one world government scenario, which is, if you know anything about China and communism and the sort of control system that they've got, in terms of, I think they've got like a social scoring system. If you do what you're supposed to do, if you're a good citizen, then you get more freedoms and more money. For example, if you were the kind of person to have the thing in your arm and do what they want you to do, then you would get more privileges. Also moving towards the nobody would own their own properties or their own houses, so you'd really like literally just be living off like a minimum standard, whatever it is, don't know, but that's like the whole New World Order plan, and that's like the plan from those people, the Illuminati or the cabal. The reason why I believe that we've moved away from that, even though you can see it, like you can see it everywhere, can't you? In the news, you can see what's going on in Australia at the moment, and Canada. You can see all of that control system happening, and it's terrifying. It is. Of course, it's terrifying. If it's the first time you've seen that happening, you know, I fully get you. Probably totally and utterly freaked out. However, I've expected this to happen for over a year, so now I'm seeing it happening. I'm like, yay, because I know we're moving towards the end game, which is great. And so the reason why I believe there is an end game and that there is a happy ever after is because in the past, now remember that this Illuminati, this cabal, have been operating in the background for hundreds and hundreds of years. They've been pulling the strings of the royals, of the political people, of all the Hollywood stars, like everything. They're all completely and utterly infiltrated. And they've been dumbing us down, making us weaker, all of the diseases that we're getting. Ask yourself why cancer weren't around like 50 years ago or whatever, and ask yourself why autism is around like, when did it start? Was it 80? I don't know. Like I say, I'm not a physician, but as a race, as a people, we have been completely dumbed down, and we've been put into a position where we should be believing them and relying on them for everything, and not be independent, and I'm babbling, Anna. Let's look at it a different way. So industry. Once upon a time in England, we made lots of stuff, didn't we? I assume. I'm not a historian, but I think we did. I think we used to make like engines and massive machinery things and ship them to all over the world and have like a really good industry. Now we don't have any of that anymore, do we? And same with America. It's almost like everything's bought from China. Like, we don't make anything here, do we? We're indebted to other countries, and we kind of rely on other countries for things that we could easily do and easily make here. Why is that? What changed? Why are we not creating all these jobs and all of this wealth for ourselves in this country? So it's things like that. So over the years, lots and lots of years, God knows how many years, our governments have kind of made these little baby steps towards this New World Order agenda. Now, this past year, or this past 18 months, that has been massively fast forwarded, hasn't it? I mean, okay, let me stop there. Right. I edited some out. I was babbling too much. No, it's because there's so much information. I'm going to break it down into a number of videos. So I didn't want to put too much babbling on one subject in one. But what I do want to say is, if you have done, depending on where you're at on this journey, I think when you first start the journey, you are just in that place where you are sort of, just terrified, full of fear. All you can see is all of the control and all of the passport thing and the jab thing going on and all of the forced stuff going on. But what I want to say is, please don't be scared. Please don't be full of fear. Do what you have to do. Do your research. I firmly believe that there is a massive light at the end of the tunnel. And there's lots of reasons and lots of clues if you open your eyes to them, and if you can see them and if you're aware of them. The very fact that what's happening in front of our eyes is happening so fast and so blatantly obvious, and so many people are opening their eyes and coming up against it. All you have to do is just look what's going on in the world, with all the marches for freedom and all of that kind of thing. And I know it's hard to see and it's hard to believe, but the people are stopping the plan, and there is a bigger picture. It's a really good picture. I really don't believe for 1 second we are going down that New World Order agenda anymore. I believe that's completely stopped in its tracks, and I believe we're going through a period of time now where we are bringing it into full sight so we can all see it clearly, but also because we can see it clearly, we have the opportunity to fight against it, which is exactly what's happening across the world now. Whether or not you've seen all of that stuff, like millions of people all over the world rising up against the governments, is crazy, it's bonkers, it's amazing, it's the most wonderful thing I've ever seen. People coming together for the freedom. So I firmly believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I also want to say as well, before I finish this one, because of the thing in your arm, okay, whether or not you've had it or you haven't had it, I want to say that please don't worry. You've probably heard of quite a lot of scary things about it, and you've probably heard of lots of things that have happened because of it, happened to people because of it. So if you are one of the people who have had it and you are realising this now, and now you're feeling regret towards having it, all I would say to you is please don't be scared, because again, I think that although originally the plan was for it to be really, really, really bad. I do believe that there's a massive twist to this, and that the Good Alliance have kind of taken over, or at least swapped out a lot of those that went. So I'm sorry if you can hear the kids in the background. So I just want to say, please don't be scared. Please, please don't be scared. Carry on with your research. Keep doing what you're doing. You'll get the answers, and I'm going to explain a lot more in my future videos, which will be coming up soon.